love it. Well, welcome to Rock University. Thanks for squeezing us into your jam-packed schedule. I'm Tim Sams, AVP of Learning and Development here at Rock Title. And before we dive into today's powerhouse session, take a quick look on the shared screen. You will see a couple QR codes. One of those will link you out to our Rock University YouTube channel. Be sure to scan and subscribe so you never miss a session. The other will connect you with our local sales representative. If you're not sure who that is, no worries. Scan the code and feel free to shoot me an email anytime at tim.sams@rocktitle.com. Also, man, we'd love to see your face, your smiling face. So if you're in a place where you can, go ahead and turn on those cameras. It really helps us feel more connected and makes the session even more engaging. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat throughout. So if you have any questions or thoughts, or you just want to say, hey, don't be shy, drop them in there. I know that our guest speaker loves the chat, so do utilize that. Now let's get to the main event on how you can get more listings by attracting downsizing sellers. I couldn't be more excited to introduce today's guest, the amazing Jeff Zimpfer, national trainer, keynote speaker, and host of one of Housing Wire's top-ranked podcasts. Take it away, Sir Jeff. The mic is yours.
Thank you so much. What's up, my fellow Las Vegas peeps? How we doing? Welcome to summer, huh? Officially, flames are on.
For sure. I think we've got some people in from Arizona as well, and they always run
Nice.
hotter than we do, for sure.
You guys do run a little hotter. I'm curious. Let's start using the chat right now. This is how we're going to communicate. Yeah, some of you guys can unmute as well. We don't have a huge group, which means we can actually have a dialogue. But where are you? AZ? Okay, so we go. Dallas is doing it. Phoenix. Are you in AZ or NV? Where are you? Just like to know. I actually go back and forth quite a lot. Got a lot of family out there in Surprise, Queen Creek, Sun City, West. Melissa went to UNLV. Whoop, whoop. Go Rebels.
Nice.
Sweet. All right. I asked Tim this question a moment ago. What's your quick take on the market? Arizona and Nevada? How would you identify it? Buyer's market. We got inventory up, price reduction, buyers on the fence. Is that kind of the hot take? What are you seeing out there? How's the activity? I'm just curious. How's the engagement? And by the way, you guys are welcome to unmute too.
Well,
Not only do I like the chat, I like the conversation. Lower buyer's market, Julia says. Nice. I would agree. Buyer's market down here. Oh, but interest rates are scaring or scarring some.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Okay. I just like to get some context ahead of time, and I really just to showcase you guys we can actually have a conversation, because I don't give presentations. Tim can tell you I have conversations, because I think we all get a lot more out of it if we actually have a conversation. So I'm going to present this topic here today. Let me attempt to share my screen and do some fun, cool stuff. And as I do this, as you guys know, the topic is seller seminars. How to leverage seller seminars by, identifying people who want to downsize. So as I share my screen here and I get into slideshow mode, I want to ask you guys a question. Tim, number one, confirm you're just seeing my slides, right, on the screen?
Absolutely. I can see them.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Looking good.
And then the next question is, let me just jump right into it. Let me ask a question. Why seller seminars? Has anyone here done a seller seminar or do them on some regular basis? Any results you want to share? And let me go back to the chat so I can follow along. And you are also welcome to unmute. And if you haven't done them, just tell us no, which is fine. While you're considering answering this question or not, what about this topic made you show up here today? It seemed like, it's a very specific topic. Is it something you're wanting to perhaps use in your own business? Like I said earlier, if maybe you've tried them and you got whatever result, do you think, so it's a great networking. Okay, Cool. So let's talk about the seller seminar blueprint. This is about how to fill the room, deliver value, and get more listings. I'm going to go through our agenda here today. Dallas says, any chance to grow my client list? Smart. Very smart. So we're going to talk about that. So let's go through our agenda. Why even consider doing seller seminars? Who is your ideal prospect? When and where should you do them? Getting people to show up during the seminar, what to say, right? What information do you present? And then follow up and conversions. So we talked about why seller seminars. And by the way, people, just so you know, Rock Title will be sending out a copy of the slides. So all the content you see in here, don't worry about it. You don't need to take pictures or whatever. You're going to receive a copy of that. So shout out to Tim and Rock Title and the gang.
Love it, love it, love it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's set the stage for first why seller seminars, okay? Number one, it allows you to connect with motivated sellers, which I probably don't have to tell everybody here. Part of the secret to succeeding in real estate is finding the truly motivated, right? Especially in this market. And so there are different motivations for different people. People who want to sell, people who are downsizing, right? They have a certain motivation. Why else should you do seller seminars? It helps you build trust and brand at scale. You do generate warm leads. You create referral momentum. To Dallas's point, you're growing your list. You're growing your sphere of influence, your future clients, right? Your future referrals, your database. You're building a marketing asset that once you do it, you can continue to perfect it and get better and do it over and over and over again. It's not a one and done. It's something that you can build over time. And I will tell you in a moment, you're going to see real agent examples of seller seminars. And they did not do it just once. They do it consistently as part of their business. And then perhaps the last reason is it differentiates you, right? This is like a lot of people who hear stuff. Have you done buyer seminars, right? Like buying your first home. A lot of people do those. We know what the situation is with buyers right now. It's a little bit challenging. They're on the fence. There's a little bit of lack of confidence. They're uncertain, etc. But there's always, in whatever market, there's always the motivated crowd to find. And let's just face it, there's some people who want to downsize as one example of a seller, but other reasons why they would sell as well. Now, let me just unpack this a little briefly. I want to tell you that seller seminars work. On the left-hand side here, you can see Valerie Upham. She did, this is just some of the stats I pulled from what I learned about her. Through 5 seller seminars, she set 9 listing appointments and secured 3 signed listings and sales during a period of October to January 2024. So these are active agents that are doing active seller seminars. Scott Himmelstein here in LA sold 7 listings in 12 months from hosting seller seminars, and Lydia Gable targets homeowners considering selling in the coming year with events averaging 1 per month. That's events, by the way. She averages 1 event per month. Now, let me ask you guys, would you like to get 9 listing appointments between October and January, or whatever 3 or 4 month period that is? Would you like to sell 7 additional listings if you're not currently doing seller seminars? Would you add, let's just say you added half of that, right? Yeah, so Dallas is in on it. Yepper, you bet. Guys, we're talking about the worst number in marketing is 1. If you have 1 source of business and that 1 source gets disrupted, you have no business. Okay, so that's why I think it's important for you to consider seller seminars, which is why you're here. Okay, let's talk about your ideal prospect. Who is your ideal prospect, guys? Now's the time to use the chat. I'm not going to say another word till you tell me who you think your ideal prospect should be for seller seminars, and go. Seniors, there we go.
Baby boomers.
Baby boomers, nice. Seniors, retired. Thanks, Melissa. Empty nesters, yep. Hot on the keyboards today, Melissa. And then we have, 15 people here who are busy driving, preoccupied, shaving, or putting on mascara. Okay, let's keep going. So who's your ideal prospect? You guys hit some of the nail on the head right there. Number 1, average, like this primary demographic, 50 plus. Homeowners, right? Older, air quotes, for those of us who are over 50, like myself, whatever, I'll live with it. Looking to make a change. Downsizing, right? Maybe looking to move to a smaller homes as their needs change. More traditional. These are sellers who also may prefer face-to-face interactions over digital. Well, by the way, this is, I should say, a criteria of this demographic, okay? I should have positioned that a little bit better, but now let me just get into some specifics about this demographic. The 50 plus, they're downsizing. These people tend to be a little bit more traditional. They're also, depending on how old you get on the age bracket, they're probably less technically savvy, may need a little bit more guidance with digital aspects. And by the way, one other group is expireds, all right? Another category is likely to sell, which, by the way, side note, there's a title company nearby where you can actually pull information. If I'm correct, Tim, can you pull information like relevant to people who might be likely to sell, maybe expireds, maybe certain demographics?
Yeah, definitely. We have a plethora of filters that we can apply and pull data that's current, data that continues to have great contact information in there. So absolutely. Yeah, you can reach out to your local rep if you don't know who that is. I'm here to help you out as well.
Right. So the goal is you're going to see and hear ideas here today, which are going to, you will do better with if you have actual real data. So obviously, Rock Title is a great resource for that. I would encourage you to contact your rep. Next up is to consider when and where to host your seller seminar. I didn't get anybody saying they had experience doing seller seminars, so I'm just going to get right into it and give you some ideas. Number one, community center, library, if it's a good location, that's critical. Some libraries aren't in good locations, so that may not be an option. Senior centers can be good. You know, the heads up on that, depending on if you're going to do a senior center. I know some of the agents that I've interacted with here that I have as examples. You've got to make sure that you're getting the contact information. Like if the senior center is promoting an event for you, make sure that you're going to get a copy of all that information, and then I could, going to keep it all to themselves. Whoever's, registering or whoever they're sending it to. Brokerage office, obviously your own office. Partnering with affiliates makes total sense. Like Rock Title, because they can pull data and help you get people in the room. Restaurant or golf course. These are all pretty great locations. Now, when should you consider doing these? Here's some suggestions. This is not a rule. These are suggestions. Saturdays, 10 to 12, tend to work well, or Wednesdays, 5:30 to 7. The key takeaway here is to test different dates and times and locations. Now, would you agree that getting people to show up for anything for an event, let alone a seller seminar, starts with having a clear plan? In the chat, put a Y or an N. Do you agree having a plan helps?
Of course.
There we go. Love it. Love it. See, I'm just trying to drive the interaction, the engagement. Nice. Julia, there's Julia. Julia's alive and well, Lord. Proof of life from Julia out there. Love it. So yeah, having a plan is important. Let's break that down a little bit more, shall we? Okay. Here's a seller seminar plan. The first step is to pick a location. We talked about some locations. The next step is to set the date, right? Start with, by the way, you just start with one event, one seller seminar, and then you go from there. You create your event in Eventbrite, ideally. If anybody here has used Eventbrite, awesome. Let me know in the chat. It's relatively simple. It's easy to use. It's free to use for free events. So a lot of people use Eventbrite and they're familiar with it. Tim loves it. Or you could create an event page on your website if you have the capability. You could definitely just do it on Eventbrite exclusively. And then optionally, you can create a QR code if you want, and you'll see why in a moment. A QR code might be helpful when it comes to physical mailers and flyers and things like that. And I'm going to show you examples in just a moment here. Here's an example of a promotional plan for your seminar, okay? 5 steps. Number 1, mailers. If you're going to consider doing mailers, you have a geographic farm that fits the demographic, sending mailers can be an effective strategy. Number 2, email campaigns. Does anybody here have an email list with homeowners, people who own homes, right? And as we said, Tim, Rock Title, your rep can help you identify homeowners that own a home that meet a certain criteria, either by age or how many years they've owned it, etc., been in the house, the seasoning on their mortgage, all those different things to help you kind of create your own targeted outbound.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so if you have an email list, you use yours, or you can get with Rock Title to help you create one. And then you can consider using something like video. I know many of you here have heard of BombBomb Video. That's a cool way to send video through email, where you can track the opens and clicks and things like that. You'll get notified every time somebody opens it. It's kind of that extra personal touch. You want to start sending your emails about 2 weeks prior to the event, okay? If you don't have BombBomb, by the way, you can record a video, upload it to YouTube, and share the link. in your email so people can then go watch and see you and have a personal connection with you. All right. If you got a newsletter, awesome. It's another great way to feature your seller seminars every month. Slide broadcast. Curious? Anybody here heard of, have used slide broadcast?
I have used it in the past, yes.
Okay. Anybody else? Agents? Bueller? We're having some fun today, Tim. I got my little Focus Aid drink going.
You
rock
are.
and rolling. Slide broadcast. What that is it's ringless voicemail. You can record a message in your voice and it can be sent to people in your database, a list you acquire, whatever. If you can get their phone numbers, right, you can send a ringless voicemail, which means it drops a voicemail and it leaves an announcement about your upcoming seminar invitation. It's optional. You don't have to do it. Or you can just, hey, I don't know, actually call people, right? Like try the old tried and true, pick up the phone and call people and create connections and relationships. Not a bad idea. Those would come obviously kind of closer to the event, the week of the event. And then let's not forget social media. Posting to social is a great way to create awareness. And I'm going to show you some examples. I know I keep promising them. The buildup is real here. Let's keep going. Some goals you might want to consider for your seller seminars. Shoot for 10 attendees per event. You don't need 50, 10. It's all about being small and manageable and controlled. You can grow later if you want, but it's all about consistent attendance. Number 2, over here on the right side, become the local real estate go-to person. We talked about why putting on a seller seminar has so many benefits to it, from the brand building to you building your database, be a resource for vendors. You can even invite, like, we're not going to go too down the rabbit hole here today, but like you can team up with other people, right? Home improvement people, attorneys, estate planners, and different things like that. Okay. The goal should be at some point you can count on 1 to 2 listings per seminar. Converting attendees into clients, that's the ultimate goal. Okay. Now that we have a strategy, once again, remember, you guys are going to get the slides, so this will all be yours. Let's talk about what to do during the seminar. What content would make sense to share during your seller seminar? I'm glad you asked. First off, here's what you're going to need. Your laptop computer for presenting your slides and your visual content. Now, typically where you're going to host this has some type of a TV or projector in most rooms today. That's what's available. And you simply hook up your computer to the TV, via HDMI or Apple screen share or whatever, or other things. That shouldn't be a difficult hurdle for you to get over. And by the way, if you want to team up with the title rep, I'm pretty confident people at Rock Title can help you connect TVs and laptops at that venue, wherever you're at. Photographer, was there a comment, Tim, or just a laugh?
Well, it's a comment, but I didn't want to interrupt your flow. So I got a couple of comments, but continue and I'll jump in right after. How's that sound?
Sure. So typo on photographer, I can see that. Document and share on social media, through your newsletter. Guys, if you've ever wondered, like, what do I post on social? Another benefit of doing a seller seminar is it gives you content to socialize and help build your brand and engagement and awareness. Microphone, well, that's optional. It depends on the size of your room and things like that. So that's really going to have some variables. All right, Tim. Comment.
Love it. So first off, I love the multi-platform approach to getting the word out, right? So I think I saw in there email, video, snail mail, right? And then slide broadcast, social media. I love that because you're going to touch different people on different platforms, right? Absolutely. And then, of course, at Rock Title here in Las Vegas, we do have a seminar room that holds about 50 people with the TV already connected. You got to love that. And lastly, we have data that is also scrubbed against the do not call list. So you have phone numbers. Even if you have a list, you can bring that list into us. If you're comfortable doing that, we can append to that list. And there you go.
I love it. I'm glad you said all that, because now it's clear you guys are a go-to resource if anybody's serious about putting this on.
For sure.
Love that, especially the data append. Okay, let's talk about some best practices. Obviously, you want to be friendly, like you are, smiling, right? Welcome attendees. You require check-in. This shouldn't need to be said any more than that. Require check-in, have a sign-in sheet, ideally is probably the simplest way to do it. And then provide handouts, right? whatever agenda it is, the topics that you're going to cover, people like the handouts, especially if we're talking the 50 plus crew where I need my readers here, whatever. We like to follow along. Maybe this is hard to see where the slides are. But again, this is just another engagement tool. And of course, your contact information can be in those handouts that you have as well. And oh, by the way, Tim, if you don't mind, I'll jump in and say, because I know the answer is yes. In your handouts, when we get into a moment of content to present, when we're talking about local market stats, pretty confident that Rock Title reps can help agents with local market stats, charts, data, things like that.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, you scared me for a second.
Yeah,
all right.
we've got that and so much more.
All right, more to come on that in a minute. Now, should you provide food and drink for people? Short answer, yes. Don't go crazy. Explore your options. You can get with a local restaurant in off hours and do it like in a side room, right? I know, by the way, Total Wine and More, those are available both here in Nevada and Arizona. They have a wine tasting room that's free, that supports audio visual, and the rental of the room is free. And so they encourage, having events. I'm not, if you want to do wine tasting, great. You don't need to, but maybe some hors d'oeuvres and wine. If you want to like level it up a little bit, you can do that. You don't have to. You can also just do no alcohol and just serve, right, some, snacks, and you guys know what to do. You're smart enough. And of course, bring your own food. I've seen people bring in the Costco, tray of sandwiches, and they cut them in half and all that kind of stuff to make a little go a long way. I trust you guys to make a good decision on this. Okay, here's a sample presentation that works well for seller seminars, okay? Number one, welcome, introduction, and agenda. Number two, this is where Tim and his team comes in, and Rock Title. Market update, current trends and statistics. This is where you want to talk about what's happening in the local market. You want to talk about today's buyers, because these are mostly going to be sellers in the room, so they need to understand what's going on with buyers. And by the way, if ever there was a perfect time for you to position the reality of what's going on in the market, about there being the increase in inventory and listings sitting, right? And that buyers are on the fence and need more confidence, and it is a buyer's market now. Your sellers are going to see the data, right? Your potential sellers. And then when you go to meet with them about a listing appointment and you have the conversation about the list price and pre-framing seller concessions, such as interest rate buy downs, closing costs, etc. It's now you have data that's backing that up, okay? And of course, talk about some client success stories. Just clients that you've helped on either side of the transaction, doesn't matter. That's really what's going to build your credibility and trust, is by showcasing you know how to get results, okay? And then obviously talk about selling tips, practical advice for sellers in the context of what I just said, the current market of what's going on. Because as you guys well know, you're the agents, not me. It's about setting proper expectations for both sides. And in this case, we're talking sellers. So use this as an opportunity to set expectations for sellers of hey, the days of 12 offers is gone, right? The days of it's selling in 3 hours, in most cases, gone, all right? So practical advice for sellers. You guys know what to do on that. Now, here's a sample opener, and I just put this in there for you guys as an example, right? Opening statement for your intention to put everyone at ease. Let me just read this real quick. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. I know selling a home isn't just a financial decision, it's an emotional one too. You've got memories, milestones, maybe even a few moving boxes still in the garage from years ago. I'm not here to tell you it's time to sell. That's totally your call. I'm just here to give you the real story, what's happening in the market, and what your options are, and how to make a smart move if and when you decide it's the right time to buy. I want you to know this is a safe, no pressure space. I invite you to ask questions, take notes, and let's make this time valuable for you. Your style might be a little bit different, but could you see yourself using an intro like this in your own voice? I would believe so. What does this do? It sets the tone. It sets the tone is that you're engaging, you're welcoming them, and you're telling them, I'm not here to tell you it's time to sell. I'm taking the pressure off. No, that's your choice. I'm just here to help you make an informed decision. There's no pressure. When the time is right for you, I'll be here for you. Framing, positioning. It's all about that. Okay? If you're teaming up with a lender, by the way, share this with your lender. Now I know Rock Title works with a bunch of lenders. I know a bunch of lenders, but you can team up with a lender, have them talk about some financing pieces of the seller seminar if you want when it comes to buyers and interest rates and what's going on with the market. Because maybe the seller needs a mortgage. I don't know. But the point being is it's also a way for you to fill in some content and have a mortgage professional speak to what's going on specifically about rates. So you can share this with them after today's class. Okay, so going a little deeper on selling tips, here's some specifics you might want to share. Should they sell now? Discuss market conditions and projections. Discuss pricing strategies. Once again, why does a listing sit? Aside from condition, here's what I've been told. It's price, 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 right? Unless there's issues with conditions and so forth. So it's pricing competitively. And, we don't go into seller concessions today, but that's going to be a big part of this market for the foreseeable future. Then we talk about property options, right? Updating your property before you sell or selling as is. This is where you take your knowledge as a real estate agent and you showcase to them the differences between selling as is versus making some updates. I can tell you right now, in our house right here in Summerlin, I live in a 25-year-old house. We're not selling anytime soon, but my bathroom needs a complete update because if I were to sell in the next 2 to 3 years, I know that I need to upgrade my bathroom. And so we're planning to make some investments in the master bath because otherwise it won't look that aesthetically pleasing. Okay, so this is where you can kind of go deep and geek out on all those different things you guys know. Talk about buying and selling simultaneously, like if they need to do that and some options around that. Again, this is where a lender might come in with like a bridge loan or some options if they have 2 transactions happening. And then of course the financial considerations, right? You want to build out for them perhaps a sample net sheet of what this looks like. So you take an average sales price in your area and you do a sample net sheet without any mortgage payoff because you don't know what their mortgage payoff is, but you just show them estimated closing costs, capital gains, right, and selling timeline. All right, let me take a pause right now and just stop. I'm going to jump back in, stop the screen share. I want to get a little read from the audience. Guys, how's this content been so far? Is this helpful? Open your eyes? Are you feeling confident, perhaps, about doing a seller seminar? I see Eric nodding his head. Nice. At least it's not an AI, right, Eric? Not yet. Soon it'll be all AI in our Zoom meetings, Tim.
Right. I know, for sure. Scary.
Good so far. Thank you, Dallas. Where's my quiet people? I'm going to start calling people Patrizia. Signs of life from Patrizia. Nice. We keep rescuing lost souls.
That's a great idea. Whoops.
I love it. Okay. Guys, I just want to tell you, like, if you just follow this and you present this to sellers in a similar format, you're going to build trust and you're going to draw people to want to work with you. Hold on, sorry. Got to share the right thing here. I'm a little trigger happy. And yes. Okay, who's excited and wants to do a seller seminar right now? Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. We're back on the screen. Boom. Let me keep going. I mentioned this is not going to go about bridge loans, so I'm just going to blow through this. You guys, understand that if you want to have a lender there to talk about bridge loans, you can do that. I just paused early on a recap and review. Here's what we covered so far. Why do a seller seminar? Who's your ideal prospect? When and where? Getting people to show up during the seminar. Next, we're going to talk about critical step, follow-up and conversation. The F word. Okay. Let's do this. Let's look at a follow-up plan. Number 1, call the next day. This is after people have come to your seminar. You have all the contact information. Number 1, you call the next day. Strike while the iron's hot. Ask questions. See if they have questions, if they want to discuss their home. This is your chance to book a listing appointment if you didn't get it done while they're at the event. Send a thank you email. Include pictures from the event. That's why you want to have a photographer there. Socialize it. Social proof, right? It reconnects them to, if there was a great experience, they remember it. And of course, that's for social media. Keep nurturing them with calls, newsletter, and relevant information. How about offering a free CMA, a personalized home valuation? And I put this in here for my lender friends, tools like HomeBot. Anybody here as an agent use HomeBot? You guys have probably heard of it, right, Tim?
Absolutely. Actually, my lender, when I purchased my home, connected me with it. Love the content, and I think it's a great product for agents to use, and just being in touch with their prospects and clients.
Yeah, if you don't know what it is, get with your lender and ask them about HomeBot or My Home IQ. My Home IQ is a alternative to HomeBot, with some differences to it. They both are great. So it's a newsletter, financial digest newsletter that allows you to stay in touch with your past client database and has relevant information related to the house price, the potential resell, can they rent it for how much, all those different things. It really creates a lot of engagement and sends you analytics when they're clicking through it. All right, that's your follow-up plan. Now, when planning a seminar, inviting and getting people to show up, there are obviously potential obstacles. The important thing is to remember to get started and you improve as you go. That being said, let's quickly review some steps to minimize potential obstacles. And I can see I skipped the page. Here we go. Number one, low or no RSVPs. Okay, well, that can happen when you're first starting out. Some of these agents had 2 or 3 sellers at their first seminar. But get the word out early. Use every channel. Email and mailers work well, and consider co-presenters like I mentioned earlier. Number 2, plan for technical difficulties. Get there early. Test it out. Test your Zoom, your screen share, your slide share, all that kind of stuff out. Your handouts, while you use them, are your backup in case something goes south, because then you actually have a physical handout yourself, and everybody can kind of flip and go through that. Number 3, low attendance. Look, that's just the nature of what we're doing here. Sometimes that happens. Here's the key: the more confirmation and reminders you do, the better, and especially live confirmations. You can redirect no-shows with a "sorry we missed your" email. That includes the link to register, get on your newsletter, follow you on social, all those things. And then if there's low audience engagement, not that that's happening here today at all. I'm not trying to. All right, a little bit of a joke. Some may be there for the free food, and that's okay. Lead with data. You're there to educate versus sell. Okay. All right. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, let's talk about some case studies. Number 1, Valerie Upham, not too far from here in San Diego. Here are her results from 5 seller seminars that had 37 attendees. She got 9 listing appointments. FYI, that's a 24% conversion rate. She got 3 contracts out of it. That's a 33% conversion rate. She had $133,000 in commissions. Obviously, she's in a bit of a higher price point area in San Diego, but how many of you think that's a pretty good ROI? Put a Y for a yes in the chat. Let's see it come in. Maybe I'm hallucinating. I don't know. You're probably asking, well, what did she spend on it? Let's say she spent $1,000. Let's say, let me get crazy. I know this isn't the number. Let's say she did mailers and everything and she spent $5,000. You guys, I'm being extreme here, right? I'm not saying that's what you have to spend. All right, let me show you now all her marketing examples. You can see she goes all in. She's got a postcard using EDDM. She's got her social media posts. She sometimes runs Facebook and Instagram meta ads. She does door hangers, right? She does like Nextdoor, that whole website. She posts it on Eventbrite. This gal's all in. She ain't messing around, right? Here's an example of a social media post for her seller seminar. This is Instagram. Once again, you're going to get a copy of all this. Is this like, where else? What other title company is going to give you a swipe file with all this actual real agent content? Tim, we got to charge for these moving forward.
In fact, I was going to invoice everybody on the call, but I think that'd be just a little too abrupt, so I'll forego that. But yeah, maybe on a go-forward basis. Great information. Go for it.
So here's an example of a Facebook post, right? Here's an example of a Facebook event that she did, Brunch and Learn. She mixed up the title a little bit here, okay? Here's an example of her posting this on her website. And here is an example of another Eventbrite page that she did on Eventbrite. So she's doing a lot. Now, not every agent does all of that. Valerie, by the way, I got access to Valerie through a real estate trainer coach. And like, this is a process. She didn't start out of the gate doing all of this. She's been doing seller seminars for at least 2 or 3 years now, right? So she started where she could. You started with the base level. And that's the same place you should start. Base level, whatever you can do. And then you build and add and get better and iterate from there. Okay? And you model what's working. All right? Now, here's my next case study. Here's Scott, who's from LA area, I believe. And this is an example of oh, sorry, let me go back. I skipped the page. Scott's Himmelston, his results, 12 months, 7 listings, his average list price, 900 grand. Estimated, these are all estimates and commissions, by the way. By the way, I've communicated with these agents. I'm not just pulling this out of my butt and making it up. Scott and I DM'd each other on Instagram, and I was asking him to confirm these results. And I did the research of going and pulling all of this stuff online for his seller seminar stuff. Okay. So this is an estimate of his average sale price of $1 million, even, 2.5% commissions. I'm not backing out, overhead broker splits and things like that. Okay. That's gross. GCI, right? So once again,
I met him in Sedona.
oh, you did?
Yeah, one of our timeshares. He was there, and really nice guy.
Very
Now
nice.
I follow him on Instagram, and
Nice.
yeah, I've reached out to him before. He's a nice guy.
Very nice. Very willing to share. Were you at a real estate event up in Sedona?
No, I was just with my family at a
Oh, you
timeshare.
recognized him.
Well, I met him for the first time. I never knew he was in real estate.
Oh, I see.
And I was in real estate. We got to talking forever because we were both in real estate. And then, yeah, come to find out, yeah, he's a pretty top producing guy.
100%. So let me see if this video plays audio. Let me see here. Tell me, Tim, if you hear this. Are you hearing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Scott Himmelstein with the Scott Himmelstein Group, and today we're here at our seller seminar at New American Funding in Porter Ranch. And we're covering today such topics as what's happening in today's current real estate market so sellers don't have to worry what's actually going to happen when they put their home on the market. We're covering topics such as what the sellers need to do to get their home ready to sell, to get top dollar, and what the process is from beginning to end.
I thought the seminar was terrific. I had a lot of questions at the end. They were able to answer all those questions, and most of the questions I would have had were already answered in the seminar itself. It answered questions I didn't even know I was going to have, too. So it was a wonderful seminar. Thanks, Scott.
all right, I'm going to stop that there. Guys, think that's a good video?
Wow. Great touch. Love the content. Missing captions, perhaps, but outside of that, great flow, great information. I love the interview part of it.
Yeah, and by the way, that's credibility. So this video he has on his Eventbrite page. So if you want to, after today's class, go to Eventbrite and look up Scott Himmelstein. I don't know if he's currently doing this because this was from the past that I grabbed this seminar. Like, I don't know how often he does them, but the point is this is really leveling up his Eventbrite page by having this recorded video, which goes back to what did I say earlier? Have at least a photographer at your event. Even better, get a videographer. Literally for like $200, you can have a videographer. Okay. Now here's Scott on his Instagram promoting.
Are you thinking about selling your home in 2025? Then don't miss our seller seminar this Saturday, March 22nd from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. in Porter Ranch, adjacent to the Amazon Fresh at Tampa and Rinaldi at the New American Fund.
Okay, so you get that. It's a promotional video. This was March of this year. Once again, he's leveraging Instagram. He's putting a vertical video on Instagram, building awareness, advertising, promoting. Here's his YouTube channel. He's got a video up on his YouTube channel that's just there as a primary kind of, that placeholder video. When you come to somebody's channel, there's that video that stays at the top. The last time I looked, that was Scott's video. But I want to point your eyeballs to where I have this red circle. So he posted that in January of 24. Here we are a year and a half later, and he's gotten, at last count, 20,000 views of that video.
Wow.
So that just keeps working for him over and over and over again. Now, what I don't know is, are people messaging him? Are people emailing him? Because he's got his contact information in here, right? He's got his links down here to get a free home value report, home search, register for the event right here. Point being is that's working for him 24/7. Okay. Smart ideas? I think so. Let's keep going. Number 3 and final, I believe, is Lydia Gable. Seems to be a concentration in California of these. That's who I was able to find. But 16 seller events per year. She gets 1 to 2 listing leads per event. That is her goal. In 2024, it was 8% of her total sales. And for her, with the higher price point of 1.2 million, that's 240 grand estimated commission for her. 8% of her sales. That's, once again, look at this, somebody who takes it seriously. Here's her postcard mailers. Okay. Now, again, you have a geography, a geofarm that you're working. By the way, I want you to know her average budget per seller seminar is $3 grand. That's the all-in cost for food, venue, and postcard mailers. Now, you don't have to start with that. Like I said, right? She's been doing this for a while. She's, what did we say here a second ago? She does 16 on average per year. If you just did 1 a quarter, what could start to happen for you, right? And again, factor in your price point and ROI into this whole equation. But once again, you are seeing a pattern. Here's her promoting her event on Instagram, free seminar, unlock the secrets to a successful home sale. Here's her short video.
Are you looking to unlock the secrets to selling your home for top dollar in 2025?
Once again, follow her on Instagram, right? See what she's doing. This is a short form video that could be good for social media, even a YouTube short. Let's see, this is a bit longer. I don't have the play, but it's a longer form video that she does have on her YouTube video. Okay. Now, if you aren't yet convinced, but wait, there's more. Here's Debbie DeGroll and Associates, seller seminars, buyer seminars. Look at these red arrows at the bottom. She puts this on her Eventbrite page. Nearly 2,000 neighbors have attended this seminar. She's been doing them for a minute. Look at this Eventbrite. This is this year. May 7th, 21st, June 14th. She's doing it right now in this market. Okay? And the list goes on in terms of examples, hosting agents, agents hosting seller seminars. The only question is then, like, what's next? What do we do now? Anybody want to know? What do we do now? I'm going to give you a hint. It starts with getting started. Seller seminars, right? Just get started. Number 1. Market the heck out of it. Use every marketing channel you have available. Serve food and drink. People love it. Team up with a restaurant that may be slow in the middle of the day or some off time. Maybe they have a side room they're not using, whatever, right? Your country club, your golf club, whatever. Okay? Gather your best co-presenters. This could be somebody from your title company, your lender. This could be from an estate planning attorney. Just make sure that you don't go down the rabbit hole on a topic that's not about the seller seminar. Like, don't let the estate planning attorney or tax person go down the rabbit hole. You give them their 10 minutes-ish, and that's it. Okay? You're the one that's going to get the appointments out of this, not them. That's the goal. Okay? Have a call to action at the end. Ask for the business. Don't assume they know, right, why you do seminars. Make it very clear why you're doing this and that you'd like to connect with them if anyone is interested in learning more about the options, about selling, etc., right? Save time at the end for private conversations, right? Don't just like end it. Okay, boom, see you, gotta go, right? Carve out time at the end for everybody slowly getting out of there, maybe grabbing some final food or drink, right? Socialize. This is you building relationships and connections. By the way, in this world of AI, the one thing that people are going to crave is personal connections, knowing that it's not AI. Okay? So let's review and wrap up. We talked about why do a seller seminar. We talked about your ideal prospect. We talked about when and where, getting people to show up during the seminar follow-up and conversation. Okay, last chance at engagement, everybody. What's your one big idea or key takeaway from today? Let's let the beatings ensue, Tim, if we don't hear from anybody.
I'm going to give them just a half sec or a minute to gather their thoughts, and I'll jump in on this. So I don't know if this is like talk within your brokerages right now, or amongst your peers. Maybe you can put something in the chat box, yes or no. But I always when I'm talking with agents, I always try to suggest that they go where their competition is not. Right. So if there aren't a lot of people that are doing this that you know of, Jeff has given you the blueprint to do so. Man, I'm all in. Like if I were an agent, I'd be jumping on this like now. Like I can't even wait to get off of this webinar to start to implement and start to plan and so on and so forth.
I love, Dallas, your comment about the different lodges, Moose Elk, VFW, American Legion. It reminds me actually, back in the day, this is going back quite a ways, I was working with a trust company that did living trusts. And that's one of the places they would host seminars, right? And these were all designed for seniors. So great idea. Yeah, you don't see other agents doing this, Julia. That's the point, right? As Tim said. But you're building your future pipeline. Okay. Tim, I feel like you're in charge today, and you got to tell me, did they earn the final bonus we have available to share with them?
I think so. I think they've hung in with us. They've been interactive. They've had some great comments.
Okay. I'm getting convinced.
I say we go for it.
How many would be willing, based on what you learned here today, would you be willing to at least contact your Rock Title rep to float the idea of a seller seminar? Because you might need their help, right? Regarding data, room, things like that. So Eric said yes. Thank you, Eric. Dallas would. Okay, cool. Then let me give you one final bonus, Patricia. Okay, here's your final bonus. It could be the best of all. I have put together a custom GPT for you to help with seller seminars. Has anybody used custom GPTs? You know what they are? They're purpose built, right? And it's already kind of preloaded and pre-programmed. It's an AI powered marketing assistant built to help you plan, promote, and follow up on seller seminars.
Stop.
Especially, I'm serious, especially for the 50 plus homeowner group. So here's what I've preloaded this thing. Here's what's going to happen. You can go and prompt this custom GPT, and you just ask it questions. I'll try and screen share it here in a minute. Step-by-step planning, pre-written slide deck outlines, email campaigns, postcard and social media templates, RSVP copy for Eventbrite on your website, follow-up scripts, convert attendees into listings, co-branded flyers tool. So, and then you can use it to help you program, to create all these additional assets like playbooks and things like that, flyers. Okay. Now, let me see if I can stop sharing and go off script and go into my ChatGPT account, and I will share the link directly with you. While I do this, Tim, let's go to a commercial.
Love it, love it, love it. I dropped in comments a little earlier, just some market stats that I pulled from one of the resources that we have at Rock Title and Rock Title Agency in Arizona. We use a product called Altos Reports, and if you reach out to your local Rock Title Agency or Rock Title rep, they can get you set up on it. But it's basically, it's a great product. There's no cost to you if you go through our rep, and you'll get a weekly email with charts. There's it's a deep dive, 5 pages deep, or it's a one pager, but it's a great content for you to position, your dialogue and discussions that you might be having with people like, hey, hey, Dallas, tell me about the market, right? And then, so Dallas probably already has this down, but this is just another great tool for you to utilize. But that particular product has both markets sitting in a slight seller's market still. There you go. Look at that.
There's Flagstaff.
Nice. So yeah, still slight seller's advantage.
Yep.
Good
A
stuff.
little bit.
All right.
I love
Beautiful.
Altos.
Thanks for bringing that up, Eric.
Data's awesome. All right, let me real quickly show you this, and we'll let you guys get out of here. So you're going to get the link to this in a moment, but I just wanted to show you. So what the custom GPT allows us to do is have 4 prompts, that are already shown here. That doesn't mean you can't prompt it for the other things like I showed you. This is just a shortcut prompt, right? So let's just see. Help me build a seller seminar plan from scratch. If I click on this, it is going to kind of map out this framework for me, kind of like some of what we went through here today. Choose your date, time, location, have a seminar title and hook, 4 slide deck topics, promotional plan. This is essentially the framework, right? And then it's going to start asking you additional questions. Would you like to start with a slide deck, a flyer, or an RSVP page? Let me know your seminar date and costs, if anything. So obviously it's all about putting in the proper prompts. And so the more data and details you give it, the better. And the same would be true with if I went back to my homepage here, and then I asked for a 3-part email series. Now, some of you may have seen GPT do this before, so you kind of know what's coming. But again, I'm giving this no context or customization whatsoever. Like I could have told it the date, time, location. I could have told it my name. I could have given it, my, realtor license, like all the stuff I need to be a compliant outbound email specific to my city, right? See, I haven't even told it what city I'm in for sake of time. But if you're a homeowner in Flagstaff and you're thinking about selling in the next few years, this is for you. I'm hosting a free seller seminar at Designed for Homeowners 50 plus, blah, 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 downsizing, reload, or just curious. You'll walk away with clarity and confidence. Here's what we're going to cover. No sales pitch, boom, links, reserve your spot. So these are obviously 3 outbound emails. And then, you can prompt it for reminders and confirmations, et cetera, et cetera. So if you guys think that would be valuable, put a little something, a smiley face in the chat or whatever. Let me put this in here for you. Compliments of rock title. I have to wait. There it is. Tim Sams is on it with a yes. Okay.
Speed
There it
typer.
goes.
I take pride in my
Julia
speed
put a
typing.
smile in there. That's awesome.
Love it.
So there's the link to the custom GPT. It's free. There's no paywall or anything. Once again, get with your rock title rep and let them know you sat in on Tim's webinar about seller seminars by this guy, Jeff Zimfer, who's got bad jokes and, lives in a dark room somewhere, apparently. And let them know. Plus, you have the slide deck you're going to get and just say, hey, I want to talk about putting a seller seminar together with you, Mr. and Mrs. Title Rep. Here's what I need. I need data. I need this, geo report, right, of homeowners that fit this criteria, et cetera. You know what to ask for, and they can help you. All right. I'm officially done, Tim. I hope people found this valuable. By the way, one last ask, if you guys wouldn't mind. I know now I'm overarching here. If you want to leave me a review, I would greatly. What's so funny about that? Come on, man.
I love
gotta
it.
ask, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Strike
foregone conclusion.
while the iron's hot, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Which absolutely, for those of you out there that do not have a Google My profile or Google My Business, as they used to call it, in place, also reach out to your Rock rep to assist you in getting that set up. Google does 8.5 billion searches daily, and I believe 46% of those are local intent. Top realtors near me could be a search. We would love to have you show up in those searches to help scale and build your business.
I like it. I like
I
it.
will leave you a review, sir.
I think hopefully the link I put in the chat allows you to leave reviews. Actually, I might need another one. Here we go. Sorry. Let me get the right one.
Let me test here real quick, see where it takes me.
Yeah, that one didn't do it. Maybe the second
Yeah,
one will.
I got it right now. Sorry. Google. All right, there we go.
There we
That's
go.
the correct one.
There we go. Beautiful.
Thanks, Jeff.
Perfect. You can tell it says review. No, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
As always, I
Thank you very much.
appreciate the information, Sir Jeff. You're always a pleasure to work with, very knowledgeable and well spoken. That's half the battle in today's business. If you enjoyed today's content and you're not using Rock Title or Rock Title Agency, please give us a shot on your next transaction. We'd love the opportunity to earn a portion, if not all of your business. That said, thanks for hanging out with us today, and we'll have some stuff headed your way via email. That's all I got.
Thank you, Tim, Jeff.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Safe
got
out
it.
there. And
Stay cool.
looking forward to those seminars coming up.
That's right. All right. Bye.
Thank you, sir.